Demar Derozan is one of the most elite basketball players in the NBA. With an average of scoring 20 points per game throughout his 11-season-long career, he is a 4-time NBA All-Star and a 2-time All-NBA team member. He currently carries a net worth of $23 million. However, Demar's life wasn't always getting slam dunks and driving around a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. At a young age, Demar encountered gun violence, illness, and a lifestyle surrounded by street gangs. This is the story of how Demar Derozan drove himself to success despite all the odds and everything going on around him. Demar is the child of Diane and Frank Derozan. He was born on August 7, 1989, and was named after Diane's younger brother. Diane's brother was shot and killed at the age of 20 due to a conflict that turned violent. Once Diane saw her baby boy, she nicknamed him the Blessed One. This is because she thought she would never have an opportunity to bring a kid into the world due to her health. A few years after Demar being born, his mom was diagnosed with lupus. Demar grew up on Arambi Avenue in Compton, Southern California. As early as age 4, Demar encountered his first experience with gang violence. His uncle Kevin was gunned down by a gang member in the Bloods. Demar, in an interview, remembers his uncle as one of the biggest Crips in Compton. It was as if someone famous had died, kind of like a parade, he says. Unfortunately, this was just the start of hardship for Demar. By his early teens, he'd seen numerous drive-bys and even people dying at funerals. Life in the neighborhood was hard and revolved around one thing. Demar explained, and that thing was affiliation, the Hood Compton Crips. Soon word about the 12-year-old boy who was dunking on his 6'4" father spread through the streets of Compton. With his basketball skills in the forefront, Demar gained respect from the Compton Crips. In an interview, Demar said, "It's the first thing you feel accepted by. It's all I knew. I look back on it now and it makes no sense. But growing up, it made perfect sense." As his respect grew in the streets, Demar really started to focus on basketball. He soon joined the varsity team at Compton High School freshman year. As a freshman, he averaged 26.1 points per game and 8.4 rebounds. During his sophomore year, he averaged 22.6 points per game and 8.4 rebounds. With his basketball wins climbing, Demar received the nickname Debo. This name came from the Ice Cube movie Friday. The respect for Demar's basketball skills made him almost untouchable in the streets. He later went on as a junior to average 22.3 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3.2 steals. Also that year, he was on the 2008 All-American team and 2008 Slam Dunk team. The gruesome violence around him seemed to be in the rear view till New Year's Eve his senior year. Demar was home waiting on his best friend, but before he made it there, his friend was shot and killed in a dispute over a dice game. In an interview, Demar quotes, "I'm no stranger to pain. It's what made me." And man, let me tell you, he was not kidding. Demar stepped it up in his senior year, averaging 29.2 points per game and 7.9 rebounds. Before he could even walk across the stage to graduate, he was ranked as one of the top college recruits, with opportunities to attend North Carolina and even UCLA. He ended up committing to Southern California Trojans, a school renowned for its football team and film school. He chose this because it was his hometown and felt blessed to play somewhere so close to where he grew up. But college experience proved to be different than how he thought. Being only 20 minutes from Compton, it felt like light years from home, he said. He remembers the classes of each kid with a laptop and keys to a car, often a Mercedes, on the desk. Many of them were also from LA. just not his LA. Demar was not used to a lifestyle like this. In his freshman year of college, he played about average. He did lead his team to a Pac-10 tournament and an NCAA series. However, the Trojans ended up losing the second round to Michigan State. He was starting to feel uneasy about his future with the Trojans. At this time, he also found out his mother's lupus had worsened. Lucky for him, his future was about to change forever. On June 25th, Demar was drafted by the Toronto Raptors as a 9th-round overall pick. Demar went for it and left his college years behind in hopes of being able to financially support his mother. She insisted he leave Southern California and experience something else. Demar's rookie year played out okay. He played 65 out of 77 games. He averaged 8.6 points per game and missed the playoffs. It was clear Demar needed to step it up. He also realized Toronto was a snow-filled hockey town, a stop, not a destination. Over the next few years, Demar would spend most of his time practicing and working out. His extreme efforts started to pay out for him in the 2013-2014 basketball season. He averaged 22.7 points per game and even one All-Star selection on the United States national team. Later that season, on April 24, 2015, Demar crushed the record of points earned in a playoff game during the first quarter. He scored a career high of 32 points in one quarter. Demar's skills were starting to heat up. In 2016, Demar went on to lead his team to Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Demar scored 32 points to help the Raptors win 105-99. This tied the series at 2-2. However, the Raptors went on to lose yet again. After an outstanding season on Demar's end, he was offered a 5-year contract for $139 million with the Raptors. In the home opener, he scored his third career high of 40 points in one game, helping the Raptors to win 109-91 over the Detroit Pistons. Not even a month later, Demar became the first NBA player with 9 30-point games in his season's first 11 games since Michael Jordan. His success was a tipping point. In 2017, he would go on to be a starter for the 2017 NBA All-Star Game and would lead his team to a playoff series. On May 18th, for the first time in his career, he was named to the All-NBA third team. His success resulted in him gaining a title of the All-NBA second team again in the 2017-2018 season. Once the season was over, Demar was traded, along with Jakob Poeltl. He was a protected first-round pick to the San Antonio Spurs in 2019. So I'm sure you're curious about how he did it. How did he go from living in Compton and gang violence to winning national titles? Demar blames his success on what he went through. In an interview, Demar says, "People ask me what I would have done if it wasn't for basketball. I can never give a good story because I honestly don't know. I had no other options." When he was not on the court, you can find Demar enjoying his time with his daughters and wife. His daughters are 1 and 4. His parents currently live in a quiet middle-class neighborhood. Demar's dedication, work ethic, and constant grind are what brought him to the point he is at today. Throughout his journey, Demar is kept humble and is always improving himself to become the best player in the league.